is indeed a beautiful Friday morning, only because the sun's up. I mean, it's a little warm, but hey, it's cooler than it has been the last 2 days. And we got Tanner joining us this morning for the First Federal program. Good morning, Tanner.
Morning, Paul. Yes, still a little warm out there this morning.
Yeah.
But not quite as bad as yesterday. When you walked out yesterday, you thought you walked into a sauna.
Yeah.
At times.
Yeah. I wasn't sure how I felt waking up at 76 this morning.
Yeah. Still a little warm, but it's August. We'll have that. And,
yes.
And like you said, a little cooler than it was yesterday and Wednesday. Wednesday was. I arguably think Wednesday was worse than yesterday, honestly.
At points. Now, I walked out. I looked at my phone and it said it was like 82 degrees. And I was like, okay. I walked outside. It was not 82 degrees.
Right.
I ended up looking at the heat index. And it was still 112 at 8:30, and I'm like, ugh. Can't do this.
Even the breeze was pretty warm.
Yeah.
It helped at times, but other times like it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it looks like this weekend it's going to cool off a little bit.
Yeah, looking mid to upper 70s all next week.
What's the forecast look like tonight for high school football games?
Mid to upper 70s.
Okay.
Could still be a little muggy, but you know, about what you would expect for a Friday night in August.
I know it's been a tricky week for sports to get practices in with the heat.
Yeah. So. I know some of the southern schools have moved their games back as they're still under the excessive heat warning.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's good though. I mean, it's better to be safe than sorry. I mean,
yes.
The heat's nothing to mess around with, especially
not at all.
Football when you're wearing pads and helmets and all extra weight. And
going out tonight, drink lots of water and Gatorade.
Always good advice. And speaking of Friday Night Lights, tonight's the big Battle for the Bell game between Tiffany Valley High School and Rochester High School. A little earlier this year than normal. It's usually late September-ish, usually more October.
Yeah.
A little different this year with Tiffany Valley not being a member of the Three Rivers Conference anymore, but glad they're still able to keep the game going, the rivalry going, the series going.
Yeah, it does a lot of good things for the community when those two come together. So.
Absolutely. And so I got a trivia question related to the game, but it's a little different than our trivia questions usually. Usually we give you 4 choices or 3 choices. Today it's just 2. So you got a 50-50 chance here, Paul.
All right.
Pretty straightforward question. In the history of the Bell game, who has scored the most points? Rochester or Tiffany Valley?
All right.
And see, this is an interesting one because you're a Valley grad.
Yeah.
And you work and live here in Rochester. So
yes.
You got an interesting choice here to make.
Yeah.
So I'll let you think about it throughout the duration of the show.
Okay, I'm not sure it's going to help.
Maybe you should just flip a coin.
I'm just going to go with my gut at the end of the show. So.
Other games around the area tonight, Caston's at North Jetson. North Jetson's ranked number 3 in 1A. So that's going to be a tough challenge for the Comets tonight, but they're looking for the first win of the season, and there's a reason you play the game.
Oh, yeah.
So, Culver's on the road at South Central. Culver's also looking for their first win of the season, and Winamac hosts Pioneer tonight.
Okay.
And then Tiffany Valley and Rochester were both victorious last week. Rochester's looking to try to get the bell back from Tiffany Valley, who won it last year. So, should be a good one. What time's the pregame start tonight?
As of right now, 6:40.
6:40? That's usually pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty standard
Fridays.
time, unless, we travel somewhere that has a time difference. But
Good point.
Rochester did not move the game back with the heat. They're feeling that it's going to be good enough when they get ready to kick off. So we're staking on time.
Well, it should be good attendance, I would think, tonight.
Oh, yeah.
The stands will probably be pretty full, and maybe even more than the stands. Maybe some people up against the fence. I've seen Rochester Valley games in the past where
everything's full.
The stands have got full, so
people
people stand up to the fence.
Yep.
And I know the United Way is going to have some tickets available for a chance to win a
big green egg.
Which if you have never experienced that, I recommend trying to win one because it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Or stick around long enough here, and we'll have Colliers demonstrating one at some point, either later this year or next year. So you can always still come out and try it then too.
Yep. Yeah. So look out for that tonight, and go enjoy some good football tonight.
Yeah.
Speaking of football, college football technically kicks off tomorrow. There's only 6 or 7 games in the quote-unquote week 0, as it's been labeled.
Right.
More teams play next week for week 1, but
Yep.
Notre Dame does kick off their season tomorrow, but not in the United States.
Yeah.
In Dublin, Ireland, they are playing against Navy. I see Notre Dame is a 21-point favorite, so a 3-touchdown favorite there. So they're, the odd makers are expecting a pretty easy victory for the Irish. But we will see. You never know in the first game.
Yes.
You gotta have to knock rust off a little bit, but I think Notre Dame will win pretty easily.
Yep.
So. And NFL, this is the last week of the preseason. The Colts wrapped up their preseason season, I guess, last night with a win over the Eagles. And a few other teams play tonight and tomorrow. So, and then all NFL teams get a bye week next week to just practice and get ready for the regular season. So, 2 weeks from last night, the season kicks off with the Chiefs and the Lions. So, football is here across the board, high school, college, professional.
Yes,
so, it's the time of year to be a football fan.
Yes, indeed.
Everybody's hopes are still up.
Yeah. Give them a couple of weeks and we'll be saying, well.
Yes. In our weekly baseball report, Cleveland Guardians aren't out of it yet. They're trying to be out of it. Record of 60-68. They're 6 games behind the Twins for the AL Central, but that's closer than they are for that 3rd spot, the wild card.
Yes.
So they have a better chance to win the division, get in the playoffs, than they do the wild card.
Yeah.
On the NL side, the Cubs and the Reds are looking in pretty good shape. Cubs are 67-60. Reds are 67-62. Cubs are 3 games back from the Brewers for the NL Central. The Reds are 4 games back. But the Cubs are in the 2nd spot in the wild card right now. So they would be in the playoffs at the end of the day. The Reds are a half game out of the 3rd spot in the wild card.
All right.
There's 4 or 5 teams kind of jumbled there for wild card spots. It's going to be tight coming down the stretch.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I think both Cubs and Red fans 2 months ago would have taken the position they're in right now if you asked them. So
yeah,
they got a chance.
Yep.
And I won't even mention the Yankees.
Thank you.
We're done mentioning them for the season. Got some tidbits here this morning. On this day in 1932, a lady by the name of Amelia Earhart completed a transcontinental nonstop flight. She was the first woman to do that. It landed in Newark, New Jersey.
All right.
On this day in 1975, Columbia Records released Bruce Springsteen's landmark 3rd album, Born to Run.
Yeah.
Still a pretty popular album to this day.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Here's some of the songs from that album.
Yep.
Played right here on WRY occasionally.
Oh, yeah.
On this day in 1986, a guy named Mark McGwire had his first career home run. He would become the first MLB player to hit 70 home runs in a season in 1998. He hit 583 for his career, but his career has been kind of tainted by steroid allegations.
Yep.
But if it wasn't for him and Sammy Sosa and Ken Griffey Jr. in the 97, 98, I don't know where baseball would be.
Yeah.
They kind of saved them.
I mean, regardless, you got to give those guys credit.
Yes. Even if they weren't doing it technically by the rules, they did.
Yep.
The home run saved baseball.
Yes, it did.
And on this day last year, California voted to ban the sale of all new gasoline-powered cars by the year 2035.
All right.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to keep an eye on as it goes forward.
Yeah.
I mean, we do see more and more car manufacturers going to electric vehicle route.
Yeah.
But we'll see if that's still 12 years away, so we'll see where that goes. And more states might join them. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. We got some national days today. Today is National Kiss and Makeup Day.
Okay.
It's National Whiskey Sour Day. And National Banana Split Day. That sounds pretty good on a hot day.
Yeah, well, sounds like a good combo to help the makeup session
Hey, whatever it takes, I guess. I got some local upcoming events going on tonight in Akron at the Downtown Community Park from 6:30 to 8:30. They're having Friday night live music in the park.
Okay.
The band Island Vibe will be performing with steel drums and tropical music.
Okay.
There will be ice cream from the Igloo available there. So bring along, share some friends, grab some takeout from one of their great local restaurants there, and enjoy some music.
Yeah.
And the Friday Night Live Music in the Park series has been sponsored in part by a grant from the Northern Indiana Community Foundation and the Akron Las Damas Club.
Okay.
Rochester Downtown Partnerships putting on the Nickel Plate Music and Arts Festival tomorrow. We had Christine Walsh on the program 2 weeks ago, and she talked all about that. There's going to be a lot going on tomorrow starting at 11 a.m.
Yes.
Downtown Rochester, and all throughout the day.
Yeah.
So bring the kids, bring the family, bring yourself.
Yeah.
Enjoy some music and arts, and some good food vendors as well. There's going to be a lot to do. And we announced this last week, but it's good to mention it again. Spaces are still available for the 2023-2024 Fulton County Leadership Academy class. Classes generally meet on Tuesdays from 8 a.m. to noon. Class consists of classroom learning, community panels, and visits to local businesses. Class participants can look forward to becoming more knowledgeable about the county, expanding connections in the community, learning more about themselves as a community leader, enhancing their leadership skills, becoming more confident to take risks and try new ideas, and discovering opportunities to make a difference in the community. So if you're even on the fence about it, I recommend taking the leap and joining the class. I don't think you'll regret it. You'll meet some great people. We'll tour some businesses. I mean, even if you grew up in Fulton County, I know when I took a class in 2020, I grew up in Fulton County and hadn't been inside some of these businesses, and there's a lot of hidden gems, as I like to say that. Don't even know that are out there, not only in Rochester, but in Fulton County itself. So if you want more information or to apply for the class, contact Jessica Riffle in the Purdue Extension. Her number is 223-3397.
Okay.
I want to give some flowers this morning to New Valley High School Special Education teacher Cammie Shriver for being named a top 25 finalist in the Indiana Department of Education Teacher of the Year contest.
Awesome.
So congratulations to her. That's a big accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
And very neat. And hopefully she goes forward. So she's a finalist, and hopefully she can become a winner.
Let's hope.
Well, today at First Federal we're open from 8:30 to 5, and tomorrow from 8:30 to noon. You can always bank with us online and with our mobile app, which is free to download no matter if you have an Android or Apple device. And our ATM is open 24/7 as well if you need some cash, and if you're out and about in an area that doesn't have a First Federal ATM, you can still get on MoneyPass.com. We're part of the MoneyPass network, so you can find a MoneyPass ATM, go to that ATM, and you won't get charged a surcharge. So, doing some shopping or traveling this weekend, take advantage of that. Still got our 10-month CD special going on. You can open up a CD at a 5.10% annual percentage yield. That's a really great rate. So I would come in and take advantage of that while you can. And we also, like always, offer Simply Free checking accounts and Simply Free business checking accounts. When you open up a new checking account right now, you'll get a free Ironworks lantern with fan.
Okay.
So it's a nice shiny lantern to take with you on camping, but
Yeah.
the fan would be great. Would have been great this week.
Yeah.
So it makes a great gift to any camper in the family, or like I said, if you ever lose power around the house, it's got a light on it too. So
Yes.
very powerful light, I should
Yes. Yes.
We offer commercial lending for businesses. Contact Lending Breeden for more information. His direct line is 574-223-1716. And if you're thinking about retiring or wanting to check on your retirement plan, check on your 401k, IRA, those sorts of things, contact Mark Bluewell or Brian Beller of our Financial Services Department for more information. And we're very active on social media. Give our Facebook page a like, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, or X, I should say, instead of Twitter, I guess, at FF Banking. Give our LinkedIn page a like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you can watch an archive of the First Federal radio shows from the past 4 years. We're the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We're DIC insured and an equal housing lender. Our NMLS number is 39992.
And that makes us legal.
That makes us legal and ready to bring on our guests and get into the fun part of the program here. We have Michaela Slisher and Amy Roe here with us this morning. Good morning, ladies. Thanks for joining us. You're going to be talking to us about the Distinguished Young Women of Fulton County, Cass County, and Winamac program going on. So first off, I guess, for any listener or Facebook viewer out there that might not be familiar with this program, can one of you, if not both of you, give kind of a brief summary of this program and the history and the revamp that it came with a few years ago?
Well, I'll definitely start with the history.
All right.
So depending on how old your listeners are, back in the 1980s, this was called the Junior Miss Scholarship Program. So Fulton County ran theirs from 1982 to 89. Cass County ran theirs from 82 to 85. And Pulaski County, Winamac had never had a program as far as I know. So I participated in Cass County's program back in the day. And we had 26 girls competing for the Cass County title, so it was a 2-day affair. I don't know that in this day and age we're going to get back to that, but I was lucky enough to win that program, which is part of the reason why I'm so passionate about getting it rebooted. So on the reboot, we did class of 2020 for Fulton County. Class of 2021, we started Cass County. Class of 2022, we started a Winamac program specifically for Winamac High School. And then 2023, we realized we had made a mistake, so we had a Winamac winner and a West Central winner. And so then this year, it's going to be Pulaski County, but it's still called Winamac because of all the legal paperwork and whatever. So there's the history.
That makes sense. And I got to piggyback off that history. What made you want to lead the charge and relaunch this in 2020 after
well, kind of a weird circumstance. I actually had not been following the program since I actually helped with Fulton Counties in '89, and I hadn't been following the program. And I don't know, I was on the internet and I happened to come across it, and I went to Indiana to see where there were programs, and it said there was a Fulton County program. And I thought, well, that's strange because I don't know anything about it. So there happened to be a chairman's name on there, and it was Lisa Becker. Well, I taught class with her on Sundays at church, so I asked her if she was the Lisa Becker, and she was. And but a large part of this job is fundraising, and if you work during the day, it is very difficult to do fundraising.
Sure.
So that was the hang-up she was having, and I said, hey, I won this program back in '84, I would be more than happy to help you. So that's actually how the reboot started. Then I went to Howard County's program in September of 2019. The program had not changed. The names changed of the categories, but they hadn't changed. And I said, I can do this. This is like the same thing from back in the 80s. So my husband told me I needed to get a hold of Melinda Pratt. I didn't know why, but I figured out later her daughter, Abigail Powell, was Triton's winner in 2019. And so she helps big with this program. And, of course, Lisa was helping with the program. And then we start just reeling people in. And, yeah, it's just a great experience for the girls. You want to talk about categories?
Categories?
Sure.
Yeah. So my favorite, interviewing, of course. So I always say that the reason I decided to join this was because when I was younger and I did pageants, I didn't have the honor to do this because it wasn't a thing. I learned so much by interviewing, being in front of a whole panel of people or an audience and having to come up with intelligent answers. It's terrifying, right? But it set me up for success. So I can, when somebody calls and says, no one else wants to be on the radio, will you be on the radio? Yes, I can do that because I've had lots of practice. It doesn't make me afraid. So I just think it gives young ladies an opportunity to have a leg up, specifically when they're applying for college and jobs. The fitness, I don't know that I would have done that one as well, though I am exercising after this. It looks super hard, but I think it's important for the girls because it helps them to be well-rounded, to put exercise and physical activity into their everyday existence and help them to understand how important that is. Self-expression can be really interesting and cute. I'll never forget, who was it that did the pig?
Oh, Eiley Deming.
Oh my goodness. I mean, when I think of self-expression, I think of singing and, the self-expression is that's the...
just standing in front of the microphone.
No, the talent.
Yeah.
Yes, the talent.
The talent is always interesting.
Yeah, the talent is always interesting. I always think it's going to be self-expression with the talent. That was where she was talking about, and I learned so much about the pig farming and such, so...
And she won the talent category that year.
She had a pet pig big with her that was stuffed. It was like, I walked out and I thought, she walked out and I thought, what exactly is she going to be doing for her talent?
Interesting.
So, you know, I think that this program, what I love about it is, and every program is lovely because it helps you to become a better person, whether it's Miss Fulton County but with the Distinguished Young Women, I think it really focuses on creating a well-rounded, multi-faceted,
pulling things out of them that they don't realize they have. I think every girl that goes through the program realizes, oh, I guess I could do fitness better than I thought. Oh, I guess you know, and we help them with every single category. The self-expression is answering a question on stage, but they all get the same question, and they get it a couple of hours before they go on stage. Yeah, so they don't have to be worried about pulling some question out of the festival. Yeah, so there's a little prep. But then it also gives them an opportunity to be a little bit creative on their answer, because they don't want to give the same answer everybody else is getting.
Sure.
So try to give a broad question that can go several different directions.
Show their sass a little bit.
Yeah,
there you go.
That makes sense. It makes total sense. Yeah. So, what changes or what differences are with the program this year compared to previous years?
So, we change it every year. So, when we have our program, 2 weeks after the program, we have a pizza party. We invite the girls to come back. Most of them come back because they get to see each other in a more relaxed situation. And we go through every category, which one category that we didn't mention was Scholastic. That's pretty much predetermined. We get the Scholastic information from the school, and there's a Scholastic judge that goes through, and there's a whole rubric on giving a Scholastic score. So there's nothing we can do about that because we are a national program, so the national rules are in place, so we can't be bending them.
Yeah.
But we get feedback from the girls every year on things that went well and things that maybe they want changed. And the one thing that I have definitely learned through this process, this will be our 5th year for Fulton County, is that as adults, we can't make rules and then expect for them to just say, hey, I'm on board, that sounds great.
Without the why.
Yeah. So we've made several changes. One of our major changes I feel like that we've made is our practice sessions, because there's a lot of teenagers that work. So we have one in August, one in September, October 1st, October 29th, missing all the fall breaks because we're dealing with 10 schools.
Yeah.
And then we have one then in November, the week before the competition, which our competition this year, Cass County will be on Saturday, November 18th, and then Fulton and Winamac do theirs combined, even though the scoring is separate. The next day on Sunday, because we already have things set up at Caston, so it just makes it easier. But that's one of the major things we've done is spread out those sessions. And sometimes it really pays off because we had a girl who didn't come to our first session that we had back on August 13th, and she now is regretting it. Must have heard from some of the other girls how it went, and so she's texting me asking if she can rejoin.
Great.
So she's back on board before we have our next session.
And if somebody's listening out there or watching on Facebook and interested, is it too late for them to join?
No, actually, since we've only had one session, we can pretty much catch them up. However, if they miss our next session, that's going to be really difficult. So the next session is on September 10th. We have the practices and the program at Caston High School. We start our practice sessions at 1:45. They really need to come. They need to come to that September 10th practice if they want to join, and the applications will be cut off the next day on September 11th. So that way, if they want to come to see whether or not they're interested, and then if they're interested, then they've got a day to get their application done, which is done at www.distinguishedYW.org.
Perfect. Speaking this morning with Michaela Slisher and Amy Roe. They're speaking on the Distinguished Young Women of Fulton County, Cass County, and Winamac program. And I was talking to you before we got on the air, and one thing you stressed to me was need some sponsors, especially in Pulaski County.
So the Pulaski County program, we really didn't envision that girls from West Central would want to drive all the way to Caston for practices. So we had a really long discussion before we decided it was going to be Distinguished Young Women of Winamac. However, we had one girl interested for the class of 2022. We only had one girl interested for 2023. So we still had sponsorship money for placing. So we were actually able to send a Winamac High School and West Central High School girl to the state program. But this year, looks like we're going to have 6 participants. So since that program is the same time as Fulton's program, we need to get it in line. So we are doing, we give out a scholarship for the winner of each of the 5 categories. And so I'm seeking the funds to be able to take care of that. I was in Winamac one day, went to see somebody that Amy told me to go see. Yeah, her cousin, and walked out with a check, so that was awesome. And I'm going back over again Monday to do follow up with some places. But yeah, we need the funding to get the scholarships in place. We don't want Pulaski County to look any lesser than any other county that we're working with.
Sure, and speaking of Pulaski County and Winamac, this is the newest of the 3 programs to get established. What made you want to establish a presence over there?
Well, I called the lady who was a guidance counselor at Winamac High School to see if there were any Fulton County girls there. Because our program is not only Fulton County schools, but it's also if you live in Fulton County. So like this year we have a girl that actually goes to Argus High School, but she lives here in town, so she could do our Fulton County program. The guidance counselor was very interested in knowing about our program, and when we have an interest, somebody that interested, we like to jump on board. So, yeah, I decided, well, you know what? If they'll travel to Caston, it's really no extra work for us. It is, because then when it grows,
you have to go to the awards.
So, and Melinda has told me if we do one more program, she's gone.
And I don't have time.
So we're done. So we're done. 3 is enough. But there's only 17 local programs in the state.
Okay,
17, and we run 3 of them. So yeah, they have an at-large so that they can get a few more girls there. They like to have, last year there was 20, usually there's about 24 girls at state. But, yeah, so that's how that whole thing started, was that darn guidance counselor.
She showed interest and you just said, let's make it
happen. And I think she was gone the next year. But hey, you know, we got it started.
Yeah. Got it started, now it's just time for it to grow.
Yeah, we don't like to turn down interest, so, yeah.
Anything else either one of you 2 ladies would like to plug this morning about the program?
Well, I will say that last year, I usually ask Melinda what she wants to do for a theme because she does all the decorating. And she goes, I really like fall. And I said, okay, so we did Happy Fall, y'all, and all of our music was country music. And you're with Optimist Club. Yeah.
So we always sponsor. We're going to be.
Yeah. So it was a great theme because the Optimist Club, since we didn't do it until the weekend before Thanksgiving, Optimist Club was finishing up with their sales. Our decorations looked beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. And that was thanks to the Optimist Club letting us have some actually quite
extra
boards and
all the stuff.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. Almost makes me want to do a fall.
Maybe it just be fall every year. Sponsored by the Olive every year. I didn't say that, Jim. So that's not my decision. You know, I think for me, the one thing I want to say, and I think about this, I sent the program to a couple of moms, one in Temecula Valley, a friend of mine, and one in Rochester, is, you know, moms talk to us, you know, ask those questions. Sure. I think it's really important. It might be scary for the girls to think about participating specifically because this can be a little intense to think about, you know, when you're in high school. But I just think it's a great program. So moms ask one of us. And grandparents, just ask about it, you know, just get some questions, maybe encourage your daughters to consider at least going to the September 10th session, just to check it out, because they might find something that's really neat for them.
Yeah.
And yes, it might be a little scary, but I promise we're pretty
here to help. I'm not too hard on interviews.
Maybe just a little. Yeah, and we realize probably the audience you guys have is not the high school senior, because it is just for high school senior girls. However, I had a mom whose daughter's in the program this year who said, I told her she needs to do it because those interview skills, I can't teach her those interview skills.
Yeah, right.
I cannot teach her those interview skills. And not that this is going to be a thing now, but we actually had a sponsor from Pulaski County get in touch with me because they knew of a summer job. And they knew that we would know what girls would be good to fill a job position.
Interesting.
And so we had a girl that ended up working over in Pulaski County this summer, who lives here in Rochester actually, and was one of our participants, would have been 2021. And so there's just an extra
Never heard.
And we do have a YouTube channel, DYW Fulton County Incorporated. We are 501c3 now. And of course, website address that I said for
Facebook
applying,
page.
distinguishedYW.org, and a Facebook page.
Perfect. Well, thank you both for everything you do for the program, and it's such an asset.
Thank you for asking us to
Well,
be
yes,
here.
anytime, and it's such an asset to these young women, and it's great to see them grow and learn these great skills. So. All right, Paul, you ready for the great answer trivia question?
Yeah.
All right. I see the confidence in your face now.
Uh-huh.
All right, the big Battle for the Bell game tonight between Rochester High School and Tippecanoe Valley High School taking place in Rochester. I want to know who has scored the most points in total for the Bell game series, Rochester or Tippecanoe Valley? And you guys can guess too if you
Well, how many years? I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
there's something in
I'm
there.
a Caston girl, so
It goes back to the 80s. I don't remember the exact year on top of the early
just
80s.
wondering how many
Yeah,
games.
early 80s. So every year since the early 80s except for 2021, I think was the year the game got called off because of COVID. 2020, either 2020 or 2021. It was
So
one
like
of the
40,
years.
40 years
So,
worth of games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost my whole lifetime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever.
I'm going to go Valley.
You going Valley? Okay, any other guesses?
Oh, I mean, I'm going to say Rochester because I'm Rochester.
Okay.
I'm not going to break the tie.
Okay.
I'm a Caston person.
That's
I'll just
fair.
stay out of
That's
it.
fair. Well, Paul, you are correct.
Ah.
Tippecanoe Valley has scored 671 points.
Wow.
Rochester 658.
Okay.
So
Oh,
pretty
so
darn
close.
close.
Yeah.
Pretty darn close. And
Wow.
It's interesting in the history. There's been some games where one of them has scored 0 or a very small
Yeah.
point total, and other times they've scored 49 points, 56 points. So, yeah, very close there. Very close.
All right.
And we will close with some words of wisdom by John D. Rockefeller, who was an American businessman. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great.
I like those words of wisdom. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Paul.
We'll see you guys again next week.
I'll be here. Thank you.